going to be an interesting game on Sunday. I don't know it's going to be a fun game, but this should be an interesting game on Sunday. The only way to add a little more chaos to the Browns coming off London, the Steelers coming off bye, the Steelers having Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, the TJ Watt, Myles Garrett kerfuffle, DK Metcalf's crazy. He's in this game. Jerry Jeudy guaranteed at least one drop. The only way to sprinkle just a little bit more drama on this game is the idea that at any point Shedeur could come in for a series, for a play, or the rest of the game if something happened to Dillon Gabriel.
Now, I would ask you this. Are you rooting for something to happen where you see a scenario where Shedeur gets ushered in, even if a healthy Dillon Gabriel is there, as if they maybe combo it up a little bit, maybe a little wrinkle from Stefanski?
No, I hate anytime we do tandem stuff. This goes back to the premise of the left tackle spot. Mm-hmm. When I see coaching staffs in the NFL run out like a tandem left tackle spot, I assume you don't want to win. It's just counter logic, at least not on the defensive line, but on the offensive line. That is one of the toughest spots to play, and continuity is so important to having the same five guys out there. I feel the same way about quarterback. Like, there are certain spots you can just swap kids in and out or swap players in and out on. Quarterback and offensive line are probably the two that it's like, please don't. Just let them alone and let them do their job and get comfortable.
If everything goes right, Dillon Gabriel plays start to finish on Sunday. That's got to be the goal. The goal is for Dillon Gabriel to be the only quarterback that you see. It was funny what you said like earlier last segment. It's like, oh, another wrinkle in there where you got Shedeur, and I'm like, I don't think Shedeur is going to see the field at all. And so I've made my watching for this week, and really until the foreseeable future, around the idea that Dillon Gabriel's the starting quarterback, and that is what it is.
Is that setting the expectations low so that if it happens, you can then just be excited?
No, I'm going to give Dillon Gabriel the chance to win the job, and I'm going to give Stefanski the chance to prove us why he thinks he's right in this scenario. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's right. I think Shedeur's a better quarterback than Dillon Gabriel. I've been vocal about that, but like the bet that Shedeur has made is that Dillon's the better quarterback. I'm going to give Stefanski the chance to go ahead and prove me wrong and show me that he's right.
I think that's what's been interesting when we've talked about the handling of Dillon or the handling of Shedeur or the handling of the four-way quarterback battle. You know, 1 out of every 20 responses is, well, I mean, they're pretty close to the situation. They know what they're doing, as if there aren't teams that screw these kind of decisions up, as if the Browns have earned that sort of benefit of the doubt, and as if it's just as simple as, well, who's the best player they're going to go play. It's like, that's just not how the NFL works. That's like the idea that all teams are trying to win at every single moment. It's like, no, they are early in the season, but other factors come into play as the season goes on. Same thing with the quarterback position. There are so many different ways that guys can play for so many different reasons. And listen, I think if anything, what drafting 2 quarterbacks and then trading for another 2 quarterbacks has proven is just how complicated quarterback dynamics are for an organization. Because, again, I don't think we get to Dillon Gabriel starting as a simple Kevin Stefanski woke up and decreed it. I don't think we get to Shedeur as the backup because, well, Shedeur's just looked better in practice. I think he has looked better in practice because he's going against Bailey Zappi. But I think we act like play in practice is the only thing that matters. It's like, it's the NFL. There's a lot of politics here. And I do think, I think Shedeur's the backup in spite of those politics.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a good thing that common sense prevailed today, and Shedeur gets to be the backup quarterback, so he's one quarterback away. But ultimately, as a Browns fan, you got to be sitting here just thinking to yourself, like, this is all for Dillon Gabriel. It's right there. Like, you hold the keys to really Shedeur's rookie season in many ways. Like, if you continue to play like you did last week, and if they continue to get wins off of that, or if they start getting wins off of that what we call an acceptable play, the runway is yours. And like, I don't know why. If you look good and you make Stefanski look good in the process, he's got no reason to move off of that.
So I think, I'm not here to tell you that wins and losses are how we grade quarterbacks long term. But I'm saying for the quarterback situation to remain what it is right now, barring health issues, barring anything else, yes, Dillon has to continue to look functional. The offense does need to show progress, by the way. But the number one thing is, to the idea of Dillon could feel any more heat because Shedeur's behind him. I'm sure there's probably part of that because it's the NFL, and I think Dillon is very cognizant of how Shedeur is viewed. The faithful Shedeur fans, dude, I'm sorry, just win the damn games.
You got to win the games.
You win the damn games, and
but
everything else is negotiable. Take care of itself.
Yeah, but the part I want to speak on, though, that it just kind of bothers me a little bit, and it might surprise you, is the idea that I want Dillon, once you went with him, I want him to have an actual opportunity. Like, I think it's miserable if in 2 games you're just like, Dillon Gabriel stinks, Dillon Gabriel can't play. We obviously know that this isn't good, especially after week 1, which was not a bad week by any stretch of the measure, and then you just wave the white flag on the young man's career. Like, any other rookie would get more than 2 games to try to prove themselves, 2 or even 3 games to try to prove themselves. Most rookies get a long, long runway before anyone declares one thing or another, but in the situation the Browns have put themselves in, it almost feels like it's inevitable that the moment that Dillon Gabriel starts to, stumble a little bit, he's not going to have that same runway that, honestly, if the roles were reversed and it was Shedeur, I would want for Shedeur.
So the only thing I'll say is, if it's number 1 picks or first-round picks or even early second-round picks, yes. I don't think 3rd or 5th-round picks should have much of a runway. Not in terms of, are you winning?
Well, I'm just asking to get to 3 or 4 games. I'm not asking for the world. Like at what point do we start just completely... Because here's the thing. This spirals really quickly if you're saying because you're a 3rd-round pick, 2 games in, if you're at the 2nd game, you just struggle and stink, I'm just getting rid of you.
No, I don't think it's that.
I think it's 7 quarterbacks
I think it's if you crater, you just don't. You don't owe Dillon what maybe the what the Giants owe Jackson Dart. Right? You don't owe Dillon what certainly the Titans owe Cam Ward.
I've taken crater off the table with Dillon only because last week he didn't come anywhere close to cratering. So do I need to put cratering back on the table?
I think this is a really tough game for him. I think that's a really good defense. It gets a lot more pressure. They're going to be able to get in the backfield a lot more.
The Vikings defense is one of the better rated defenses in the NFL so far this year.
It is, but they don't... because Van Ginkel's out, because they got a couple other injuries. Like it was John Grenard and then a couple other... They're stacked. They're stacked at pass rushers. And it's not just that. It's your 2nd game, so there's real tape on you. It's your 2nd game that's coming off the London game. I think this is a really tough ask of Dillon to go on the road and get this win. It really is. And it doesn't mean he won't do it.
It is.
It doesn't mean we can't hope for it. But yeah, I think if there was going to be a Dillon has the, oh my God, this looks really bad game, this should be it.
I guess, but how they had him operating in game 1 that he played, it just it almost feels like it's crater proof, where he just didn't throw the ball down the field much, and he just it's a lot of dink and dunk in many ways. Like it's passes that I know that he can complete. Now maybe he just starts to have interceptions creep in. Steelers, they create a ton of turnovers, ton of takeaways. Maybe that's what it ends up being, but I don't look at Dillon as somebody that's just going to crater.
Trevor with a super chat on YouTube. The clock has started for Gabriel. Hope for the best. I think the clock has started on all of them. The clock started the second that you made the trade for the number 2 pick that allowed you to get a future first. Like the Browns signaled their hand. And then basically, Dillon and Shedeur, I don't want to call them hedge bets because that feels, but they were like, hey, we're going to do this unless somebody pulls the sword from the stone.
Yeah, but why I think Dillon's got a longer runway in this scenario is because it is much more a reflection of Stefanski, Dillon Gabriel is, than Shedeur Sanders is. We know how Stefanski feels towards Dillon, and we know not only the comments he's made, but how this has been perceived the entire time. Like, he believes in Dillon more, and he believes that he can get his talent with Dillon out. And so if you're not able to there, and you have to go to Shedeur, listen, I want to watch Shedeur play, but that is a reflection of you, Stefanski.
Paul also saying on the old super chat there, you guys weren't paying attention in training camp. He's a backup at best. He's going to keep you in it, but he's nothing special. Yeah, I think that's most people's takeaway on Dillon, but this opportunity is the opportunity to show that he's more than that.
Right, we're just saying, or at least I'm just saying, just show us, Stefanski, prove us that you believe in Dillon Gabriel, and you're right about Dillon Gabriel.
And it's interesting, I think this is a really tough game to have any expectation for any quarterback. If Joe Flacco was in this game, this would be the 6th game he would have played this year. I'd probably have diminished expectations for Joe. On top of the fact, by the way, I still don't have enough evidence that your offense is anywhere close to hitting the ground running and hitting the notes you need to be in games like this.
I know, but then and I don't want to make this all about the Giants last night because we'll get to them in the 3:00 hour, but what happened last night? They're without Malik Neighbors. They're without Darius Slayton. They have the top 2 wide receivers gone. They have half of a offensive line, and it didn't matter for Jackson Dart. Like some quarterbacks, it doesn't really matter what's around them. They'll make things happen. Dart and Scadaboo did that last night. Like, sorry, Dillon. I know it's not a great spot to put you in, but other quarterbacks across the NFL are doing it right now.
Now, the question becomes, is naming Shedeur the backup a vote of confidence? I will say, I think even if I think it was collectively bargained, even if I think it was a chip for Stefanski to use, I don't know what he would have been going for across the board. But even if that's true, yes, I do think this is the vote of confidence in the same way that if they came out this week and opened up the playbook for Dillon, that would be a vote of confidence as well, right?
Are you expecting that?
No. And
I'm not either.
I think at some point they have to do it. But here's the problem with Dillon. I don't think you open up a playbook for Dillon because I don't think he's the guy that's going to throw down the field consistently. I think the guy that's going to throw at least to the mid-range consistently is the guy that's backing him up.
Agreed. That's why I think a lot of fans want to see Shedeur out there. But it's one of those things. The heavy bet for Stefanski, where he has pushed his chips in the middle of the table, is not with Shedeur Sanders. Let's go remind ourselves that. It's not with Shedeur. It's with Dillon. So Dillon's going to have a longer runway there because of that. And Dillon's going to be more of a reflection of what we think Kevin Stefanski can do as a coach than even Shedeur is.
I do want to push quick hits here because I think we're having some good conversations on this. 216-474-0092. I think Dillon's seat is hot because he's a third-round pick, and there is the perception of him around the NFL as more of a backup than a starter. And because it's the NFL, and I think Dillon is probably smart enough to know how the league works. I do think just by being in the same quarterback room that Shedeur just naturally makes it hotter because there's a lot of noise that comes with Shedeur, but I don't It's interesting. I think Dillon's seat gets hot when Dillon plays poorly or they lose too much. I think Dillon's at a real advantage here over Shedeur because of everything we've talked about with Stefanski.